What's up, Silver Noobs? First of all, I want to apologize for my absence, but who even fucking cares? I have 2 subscribers. Today, I want to talk about something that always affects everyone, especially in Counter-Strike or any sport, for that matter, and that is slumps. I recently watched a video by Steel, and he actually explained it really well. I'll leave a link to the description. I'm going to be referencing his video a lot, so yeah, just go check it out. So what exactly is a slump? Well, a slump is basically when your performance starts to drop after having played really well for a long time. This happens to everyone. This means you could have played a game on a MGE rank where you would have dropped a 30 bomb, and then a day later you would have started playing against MGs again, but you would only drop 20 bombs or even 10 bombs and, bottom frag, lose games, and that would happen over, a course of a week. Now, I want to give you guys a quick rundown of the past few months of my Counter-Strike history. Now, before I moved to Switzerland, I was D-Rank Master Guardian Elite on my main account. Then I moved to Switzerland in July. I couldn't really play for a while. It was about a month off, basically. Then I got a new laptop, and I started playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive on a new account. Now, I played the 10 competitive matches over a course of, I think it was probably like a week, maybe 5 days. I probably played every day, so about 5 days, and I ranked Legendary Eagle Master. And I played really well for a while, and then I went on the slump. And then after a while, I actually deranked to Legendary Eagle, and I was on that rank for a very, very long time. Then, just a few weeks ago, Valve actually readjusted the ranks, which dropped me down to Master Guardian Elite again. Which doesn't make any sense in my opinion, because that would mean that I was just as bad as I was like 6 months ago. And this is really where the slump happened. This is where I started just dropping shitty bombs. I would just be bad at every game. I would bottom frag. I wouldn't know what the hell I was doing. I'd rush when I wouldn't have to rush. My game sense was just completely off. So then I left Switzerland for holidays to come back here to Kuala Lumpur to visit my family and my girlfriend. And I took about 3 weeks off from Counter-Strike Go. Now, because my girlfriend actually had to go back to school, I actually started playing Counter-Strike Global Offensive again about a week ago. And I have come back stronger than ever. My games have been amazing. I've been dropping 20, 30 bombs on MGE games, and I'm very close to rank up probably. So basically that time where I was MGE and I was on that slump before I left to Malaysia was the slump that I'm going to be talking about, and it affects everyone. Everyone's in a slump every now and then. It just happens. And in this video, I want to talk about tactics you can use to prevent that from happening, or just, something you can do that when you're already on a slump that you can help get out of it. So the first and the most important tip I can give you guys, which was actually what Steel referenced in his video, or I'm referencing Steel's video, is he actually said not to internalize the fact that you are on a slump and bring yourself down. This is the biggest problem. People start to realize how badly they're doing, and they would start saying like, oh, why am I doing so bad? This is my fault. I suck at this game. What the fuck am I even doing? As soon as you say that to yourself, that is the moment you need to rethink the whole situation you're in, because that's the moment where your skill is going to start dropping even more, because this is the point where you start putting yourself down, and it's not any other factors that are bringing yourself down except yourself. The next tip I can give you guys is not to focus on your rank too much. The rank is just a reflection of what your rough current skill level is. It doesn't mean that if you're a Master Guardian Elite that you necessarily are actually in that skill group. It could just be because, you have crappy teammates, or your ping is really high, like in this gameplay video I'm playing right now, or just anything. And I'm not saying, I'm not supposed to be MG, because I'm definitely supposed to be MG. I have, games I lose sometimes, but I win the majority of games. All you need to make sure is that you're playing well, and that your strategies are good, that you don't rush it, unnecessary times, that you just play well in general and not what rank you are, because that is not important. This next one is something that's going to be a little hard to do at first. It's going to be that you need to focus on yourself. You shouldn't be focusing on the enemy team that might be flaming you, or your team that's flaming you, or flaming the enemy team, and you yourself should definitely not flame in general. Also, don't blame others for your mistakes. As soon as you start flaming other people, or blaming other people, or blaming yourself, that is the moment where, like I said, you start bringing yourself down. And if other people actually start, trying to bring you down by saying really mean things, or saying, you fucking suck at the game, just block communications with them and just play the game. Focus on your own game. Try to get as many kills as possible. Try to, get good plays, and don't focus on what they're saying. Just block them. Block them out of your entire system. Now, the reason I say why this is hard to do is just the fact that it's in our nature. We've always done this. You did this in preschool, you did this in high school, you do this all your life. You start blaming other people, you start blaming yourself for your mistake. You need to get off of that high horse. You need to start looking at things differently and start to rethink that whole situation and just ignore it. Try to just block it out of your system. Don't do it at all. It will bring your skill down. There's no doubt about that. Once you have all those things settled, once you have control of those situations, the next thing you can do is not to focus on how badly your team is doing. Rather, try to be the best you can. Try to get as many MVP stars as you can, and try to be the top fragger in the team. Try to be, just as good as you can. Try to carry the team, try to motivate the team instead of flaming everyone. The reason for this is the more MVP stars you have, the faster you're going to rank up. That's how Valve's ELO system works. I don't know exactly how it works, no one really does, but apparently it really, really takes count of those MVP stars and how many rounds you have won in comparison to how many rounds the enemy team won. So say you won 16 rounds and the enemy team won 14 rounds, it'll be better to have only, lost 4 rounds to the enemy team rather than, 14. That's a pretty obvious point. So those are the few don'ts to do to get out of a slump. So the don'ts to do. But once you have those things under control, you should actually be able to get out of the slump. This will increase your individual performance, by blocking out, toxic players or anyone that is disturbing you from, being good at the game by concentrating at the game. Because if you can't block out people that are being toxic, you're going to be focusing on them more than the game itself. However, if these things don't work for you, you might actually just have to do anything outside of Counter-Strike. Now, this was also mentioned in Steel's video. You could do anything. You could do exercise, which is really good. I might actually release a video. I read a really interesting article about it. It has the whole thing, to do with the brain and everything. It's a psychology thing. I'm not a psychology student, but I think I understand, the rough idea of it. But just, do some sports, go out, go for a jog, go cycling, lift some weights. I do all of those things, and it really does help me, clear my mind. Do anything that you can clear your mind with. Maybe, go out with friends, go to your, visit your girlfriend, go out for a beer or coffee, take your dog for a walk. Anything that doesn't have to do with Counter-Strike. It will definitely help you. If you use these methods correctly, you should be able to push through a slump relatively quickly. However, slumps are not avoidable. Using these methods are not going to guarantee you that you won't ever be in a slump. It's a guarantee that you will. It's just how the human body works. Some days, you won't be able to concentrate on the game. Maybe you have something else going on in life. It's just it's just like that. It's the same thing with any other sport. However, if none of these work, perhaps the best route to take is to just go on a long break. Now, when I say long, I mean a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month, something like that, and then try to get back into the game. If your aim is off after that time, just play some deathmatch, play, some casual to get your aim back, or, download any of the aim maps, and you will definitely get back into the game, and your game sense will be better. This is always the most safe and foolproof way to get out of a slump, is to just take a break. That's what I did, and I'm pretty sure it will work for you too. I've heard from a lot of different people. I've watched a lot of videos on this and read, on the, CS:GO Reddit, that this works for a lot of people. Just take a break and you'll come back stronger than ever. Of course, the break can't be too long. If you go for a 2-3 month break, you might just lose, sense for the game, which is also not a good thing, obviously. So as a conclusion, perhaps the next time you want to go to some random Russian guy on a server to piss him off, rethink that strategy and don't do it. Maybe instead, try to explain to him what he's doing wrong. If he's not willing to, reason, just block him and play the game on your own. Try to, win the game. If it's not possible, lose the game. You win some and you lose some. Also, always remember that Counter-Strike Global Offensive is a competitive team-based game that also depends on individual skill, just like any other sport, be it football, rugby, tennis, anything. And so I can't stress enough how important it is that the game has to remain fun for you. As soon as the game isn't fun for you anymore, your skill level is, it's just vowed to drop. There's no doubt about it. It's just like that in every single sport. The moment you start losing interest for it is the moment you start, being shit at it. Let's put it like this. If the game becomes too repetitive, you lose your interest and your skill will start to fall. So make sure that you don't do the same things over and over again. Perhaps change the maps. Don't change your settings, but change the maps. Or just change up your game style. Maybe instead of going to the B site all the time, start going to the A site, and stuff like that. Just rethink your game strategy. And like I said, if all else fails, take a month off, do whatever the fuck you want, and come back, and you'll be stronger than ever, just like I was. Now, if you've come this far, I want to thank you guys for watching the video. I know I probably won't get too many views on this, but I appreciate you guys if you've watched until this point. Please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment. Leave some criticism if you can. Some constructive criticism would be great. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video.